Yo, 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 yo. Here. There we go. That's better. Check. One chickadee, miggity. Okay, miggities. Yeah, so, spacious sounding in here with the door open, but that's okay. I don't mind. If you don't mind. Little Shaboya wake-up call. All right, everything is checking out. Okay, all the levels are leveling through. Let's go live on the Facebooks.
Everybody?
Hey, what's up there? Crazy cats and kittens and kids and goats and curries. I'm sorry, free association got the best of me. How the hell are you? It's Woke with Kids again.
Back from far away.
Yes, a long time ago. That's right. We are back from artistic hiatus. That's what I'm going to call it.
I like that.
Yeah, we had to recharge and do some things. Mel had to take an extended sabbatical in order to flex your theatrical, thaumaturgical muscles.
What did you say?
Thaumaturgical? No, that's not right.
That is definitely not even a word.
It is a word, but it's not the correct word.
What does it mean?
It means magic.
Oh.
And I'm misapplying it. I meant there's some other word, dramaturge.
That is not what I do.
What is dramaturge?
Dramaturgy is the practice of basically summarizing the play.
Oh.
Or the program or something.
No, that is definitely not what you do.
Multiple things.
That is definitely
writing.
Not what you do.
It's writing about plays.
Okay, that is definitely not what I meant. But I was in the right galaxy of words.
In the realm of theater.
Okay, and they say husbands don't listen. Anyways, it is May. Some don't. It's May 2nd, is it not? May 2nd. In the 2019th year of our Lord and Savior. And there are so many things to talk about. So many things to catch up with you guys.
Great. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there are always things to talk about.
Always.
Whether I am really interested in them or not is a matter for contention. We're going to see. I have some stories saved through the handy news app that Apple has given me. My shiny white and glass backed overlords.
Oh, see, look, the government took another mom's tax refund.
Yeah, it was a whole thing now. It's like they are predatory.
They're coming after their money.
They're coming after their money in the most aggressive way.
Did you ever get the state?
Possible. I did get the state.
Oh, okay.
I did get the state, so that helped a little bit. But what my wife is referring to, and I believe I brought it up in one of the earlier episodes, is that I owed a certain amount of money that had compounded to an absurd amount of money with interest over many years of neglect that I completely, because I didn't know about it. I thought my father had paid off all my school loans, and I naively did not check or look in or investigate it any further than that. Turned out I had an outstanding grant or some sort of Perkins loan or whatever that I was taking out over the first summer I was independent, and it ate up my whole refund. And I was so pissed. Federal refund. And I was so pissed because I had intentionally put taking no withholdings, and I was banking it essentially, knowing I was going to get this big refund and I was going to use it as a blanket, as capital. It got taken. So shame on me, and I learned my lesson, and I now am taking every goddamn deduction and all of my withholdings up front, and you're going to have to come after my money and claw to my goddamn cold dead hands now. Congratulations, you've converted me into a fiscal conservative. But that being said, it's not something that is unique to me. Currently the Department of Education is, to remind you guys, the current largest holder of debt in America. It's bigger than mortgage debt. It's bigger than credit card debt. It's bigger than everything. School loan debt. And they outsource the management of this debt to private corporations, and much in the same way and analogously to the prison industrial complex, where they outsource the care and upkeep of and rehabilitation of criminal offenders. So, anyways, that's the vision of the Republicans: is that one day all of the things that the government does will be owned by individual overlords. So everything will be like the Middle Ages, and we will all have to pay tribute to our cryptocurrency, cyber neoliberal overlords, and we will all hopefully have some health care as a result. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. There are other things to talk about.
I'm Melissa.
I'm Yaze.
And we're going to talk about some stuff.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff. I think the biggest thing we got to talk about is always death. Charlotte, there was a shooting.
No, another shooting.
I know. Go figure, right? In America, of all places. I can't put my finger on exactly what we're doing wrong.
A former, recently withdrawn student from the University of North Carolina went back to campus.
Yep.
Entered what may have been a random classroom.
Hey, Tamara.
And he began shooting.
Hey, Michael.
And there was a young man, Riley something, who bravely attacked the attacker.
Yeah. Yeah, one of these heroes.
And by knocking him out or knocking him down, enabled the first responder, the police officer who first entered, to then shoot him or disarm him. I don't know.
Yeah.
What happened, but it was just so sad. It's always so sad.
Yeah, well, and his father and the family basically immediately disowned him. Bravo for them. They just immediately came out and said he's now a part of the history of hatred. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that actually, by the whole throwing people away thing, but
he's definitely part of the history of gun violence in America.
Yes. And I don't have enough energy to hate him because that's too much space in my brain for no rent, to be quite honest. Hey, Michelle. But what I will say is this is there are a lot of goddamn loners on these message boards. At what point are you not alone anymore? At what point is it a group thing? At what point is it a phenomena? You know what I mean? So
at what point is it a crisis?
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed by the federal government.
Which, look, I'm not high. I mean, I'm a little high. It's California. I can be high. But I'm not high enough to think that Trump is going to do a goddamn thing about this because we know where his bread is buttered. But it's just exhausting, to be honest, for somebody like me to talk about guns, to be, guns having taken my brother's life, guns having played such a huge part of my growing up in the hood, the fear, the daily terror, the dread of walking around, being afraid somebody's going to blow your brains out, or you're just going to be the victim of some stray bullet that you didn't even earn. Yeah, man, it's weird. It's weird that we're the only place in the world. I mean, it's not weird actually when you think about it, because we're also out of the 250 years that we've been a nation, quote unquote, we've only been at peace for 16 of those years. Did you know that?
I didn't.
That shit fucking, just, come on, let's all just have a moment of mindfulness and take that in. Hello, if you're in America, you live in a country where out of the 250 years that you were taught about in history that we are taught to celebrate and glorify, only 16 of those years have we spent in a state of not bombing the fuck out of somebody. Anyway, so, as above, so below, is it really that huge a stretch to understand why all of us have to have guns? Why, in fact, and this is what I wanted to talk about this shit. I just saw this today. In Florida, by a very, very slim margin, I guess, they passed a bill to allow classroom teachers to have guns. Okay, let me read to you. Can I read to you for a second? This comes to us from the Miami Herald. Florida man's favorite outlet. After about 7 hours of angry, sometimes deeply painful debate about race and gun violence, that spanned 2 days. The Florida House passed a bill Wednesday that would allow classroom teachers to be armed, expanding a program lawmakers created last year after the Parkland shooting. Why would you create that program? Anyways, the debate reached emotional heights that had Democrats shouting or tearing up as black lawmakers delved into details about their personal experiences with racism and their deep-seated fears about minority children being targeted by teachers who have guns.
Yeah, I mean, what's the protocol for that? Because how are they not? Let's say the kids are acting up, they're not listening. The teacher is stressed. So what is to stop a teacher from pulling the gun out in class and essentially threatening the students with it?
We live in a country.
What's the protocol so that they only pull it out to stop a gun attack?
We've seen the videos.
Where is it going to be kept? Are they going to wear it? Is it going to be locked away? Will the kids have access? Will they, you know what I'm saying?
We've seen teachers body slamming. We've seen teachers body slam or security guards body slamming children in schools.
Well, we've seen teachers hitting children as well. I mean, what is the damn protocol? Are all teachers required to go through background checks? Are they going to go through extensive gun training, gun safety?
Well,
parents have to sign off on this when they enroll their child. I mean,
they actually did give this.
Going on.
They did give this some thought. I don't think they gave it good thought, but they did give it some thought. And what they came up with essentially is that this is an opt-in program. So a lot of places, particularly Miami-Dade, are saying they're not going to opt in. Miami-Dade being a predominantly black area, they're not going to opt in, but there are going to be areas they're going to opt in, and then these people are going to have to go through background checks, and they're going to get training or whatever. But they essentially are going to become armed officers in classrooms, and I don't give a fuck how concealed or if the gun has to be be a lockbox in the room. How is it?
I'm not sure that this is going to enhance
I don't think this
the
is going to turn out. I don't think this is going to turn out.
I don't see how this puts everyone at ease so that more learning can occur.
I'm just thinking about teachers, overworked teachers who already working 13 hours a day, doing lesson plans, grading. These are the people that you want to give a gun, and not just their temper or losing their temper. I'm not even saying that, because I think teachers have the patience of Job. What I'm saying is that these tired, overworked civil servants, they're not going to ever forget to lock up the gun. They're never ever. It's never going to leave their sight.
I mean, are they sharpshooters now? So let's say there's an attack. How do we know that a bullet won't hit a student? Will they be then Can they be charged?
Thank you.
For manslaughter at the very least?
If one of these big gorilla-looking Negroes, you know how they look at us, you know how they see us, how white-o vision works. Objects in mirror may appear larger, more threatening, and older than they actually are, right? So when one of these gorilla Negroes starts charging one of these hapless Iraq war vets who got, dishonorably discharged or some shit, now teaching part-time. I mean, no offense. I'm not trying to make the worst characterization, but I'm saying you got people are over. You can't do this to teachers. You can't say that we expect you to be goddamn paladins, marines of virtue, these polydextrous polymaths who can do anything we require them, and we pay you bupkis, we pay you bullshit, and have no respect for your profession.
Yeah, is that like a pay bump?
We can't do that.
You agree to do that?
What in the world are we doing?
What kind of insurance is the district going to have to pay once they allow something like that?
Oh my God!
Who would even insure that?
Can you imagine? I can't even imagine.
The logic of it just doesn't.
The
make
marches.
Sense.
When a teacher shoots a student because they stood their ground in Florida. When a teacher stands their ground against one of these.
Accident.
Or whatever. It's just too. The mind boggles and is staggered. This is truly an accomplishment worthy of Florida. Florida, thank you. My hat's off to you. Woo! You've done it again. You have just.
God,
just magnificent.
How long is it gonna get worse before it gets better?
With Florida, until the shit is swallowed up by climate change. That's
everywhere.
Look, as far as I can tell, Florida is going to be the first thing to get swallowed into the sea, and then they're going to be too busy shooting at kids to do anything about it. No offense, I'm sorry. I love Florida too. It was one of the first. I used to vacation all the time as a kid there, but Christ Almighty, come on, guys. Teachers with guns
seem like a good idea.
Teachers with guns in the school, man. Come on, y'all.
I wouldn't want.
Come on,
no teachers out here.
Come on, y'all. Come on.
Is that from American Gods?
No.
Oh, where is that from?
Now you made me feel I was going to say Higher Learning, but no, Spike Lee's film.
He has so many.
I know the college one though.
Oh.
Not
School Days.
School Days. Thank you. Gosh. I got John Singleton on the brain, so I can only think of his films.
We have to talk about it.
Oh, we got to talk about it. Okay,
that one still hurts my heart. I mean, I'm still mourning Nipsey Hussle.
God, it's back to back for the West Coast, really.
And it feels so. I mean, I just see all these connections about these young black men from, South Central who have accomplished amazing things, telling our story, uplifting others in the community.
Yeah. And
their lives ending so quickly and suddenly. I knew something was up with John Singleton because, I didn't know shit was up before they announced that he was in a coma.
Right.
I didn't know the nigga was sick. Or ill or anything. But, when they said he was in a coma, I thought, that's not good. Coma is not good.
Nah.
That means your body is like,
nah.
We're going to shut the fuck down.
Yeah.
And all y'all can do is pray that we come back.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did.
The back-to-back announcements was...
so then when they were like, oh, we're taking him off life support, it was like, first of all, let me back up. Motherfucker had a stroke.
Yeah.
That didn't seem good.
That's the first thing.
But it was like, they really downplayed the seriousness of it. Stroke is always serious, but somehow they made it seem like
black people don't like you. Black people. We can't have you thinking we dead before we.
Then
you know what I'm saying?
when it was like,
we
need to get conservatorship of his shit.
Yeah,
I was like, that's not good.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah.
So then, within a week and a half, once they announced he was in a coma, then it was like, oh, the stroke was really bad.
Yeah, it was foul.
And soon after that,
yeah, it was over.
They chose to take him off life support, and then he was dead.
Yeah, and I just can't imagine how painful that is for his family.
I felt bad. The other connection I was really stressing about a little bit was Lauren London, because clearly her relationship with Nipsey Hussle was, ginormously more significant. But in watching a video after Hussle had died, he talked about the fact that John Singleton had handpicked her to be the lead in his show Snowfall, but she had to tap out because she was pregnant with their son, Cross, at the time. Right. And Nipsey was basically saying that was a huge indicator of the type of woman she was, and et cetera, et cetera. But that led me to the thought that she had a connection and actual relationship with John Singleton, at least as a professional creative.
Yeah.
So for him to also be taken so quickly and suddenly, so soon after someone else she cared for died, just seemed especially cruel.
Yeah.
Cruel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all sad, man. I often reflect on how tragic the lives of our black luminaries are, because even though our excellence does not protect us or insulate us or does not inculcate us against the stressors that fuel the genius. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's such a common, unfortunately, to hear about a black man dying at 50 something is too young, but it's too common. It's
definitely.
too common.
He was the youngest director nominated for Best Director for an Oscar for Boys in the Hood. I mean, he was 24.
Yeah.
That's ridiculously young. I mean, if I think what I was doing at 24, I mean, Lord Jesus. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, but you know what though? Even what you were doing, what I was doing, even if it wasn't even at the magnitude of what a John Singleton was doing, it's like what's telling is comparative of like the inherent obstacles you got to over. I've just been thinking about this a lot. The inherent obstacles you got to overcome as a black person comparatively, and I try not to think comparatively, but it's hard not to, with white people who are in a similar position.
Oh well, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like for every accolade or for every accomplishment that you're making, it's just sometimes you can talk yourself into pretending like the difference isn't there, or like the gravity isn't artificially enhanced. But like, man, I had a fucking day today, and I'm not gonna get into it, but every once in a while you get reminded like this shit is still white supremacy. Like, and white supremacy means that unless you got the complexion for the protection, you have to wander, you have to tremble, you have to dread. It is inherent in the system that there has to be that ambiguity, man. 51, that's
it's
stress.
Just so young,
that's
and he
stress.
was such a huge figure in the black filmmaking community, and he offered so much mentorship, even just by his presence and his accomplishments of what he had put out there. I mean, and you just take it for granted, these films and what they showed, the nuances of black life, particularly people in South Central, as full, whole human beings, and it had not been seen. I mean, I remember seeing Higher Learning, and even if some of it was so like on the nose and what we would now say is cliche, it still just opened my eyes in such a way.
Let's talk about that for a second. Let's definitely talk about that for a second.
Experiences of black students on campus.
Let's talk about those two films.
And so many actors. I mean, go ahead.
No, okay. I just want to frame those two films because you're absolutely right. You're onto something really dope because like he did 2 generations in a row. Like first he gave us Boys in the Hood. Right, like young, like kids.
They started young and then going into high school, and
and it's like,
do they even get out to go to college?
Like literally the metaphor of the dude running down the street.
Never will forget it.
Oh, Ricky!
Can never forget it.
Ricky!
It was such a bit of a watershed moment. I mean, there's just no other way to put it.
It's the thing is like it's cliche now, and that's what I was responding to. It's like it's cliche now.
Well,
we think of it. We think of like we can think of a million movies, a million rappers who have made a version of this. Oh, my dead homie, and all these dead homies. But like John Singleton was the one to crystallize that story into a form,
and
into
also
a mode.
To present it at that time in a way that was nuanced.
Yes.
That, you know what I'm saying? That's the key. That's the key.
Yes.
Not everybody was a gangster.
That's right.
Not everybody. It wasn't a monolith community.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and he had the dude talking about gentrification and the generational gap between what the old people thought, what the young people thought, and there was love, there was romantic relationships, and
it was less weird. And I have to say this, and I think historically speaking, in his position in the black sort of constellation of artists, he was also less weird than Spike Lee. You know, like he would like there were only a couple of before Spike Lee, there was no one before Spike Lee in my generation, right? Spike Lee was the first black filmmaker of that I related to that I knew was making art. And then John Singleton came around, and he had a style that was different, that I felt like it seemed to speak more directly and more transparently about what it was.
I think also, I mean, just to compare their directorial style, Spike Lee is just always all over his films, you know? I mean, not just because he's in it.
Yeah.
But he's in it. He's also often, especially in the early films, one of the lead characters or very, very supporting characters. And
very, very supporting.
Very,
very, very supportive.
So, and they're set in New York, Brooklyn. You know,
he's very Woody Allen-esque.
Well, yeah, he's an auteur in that sense, where it's like, this is my film,
and also in the inserting himself.
And John Singleton just had a whole new approach and style. And he was more in the background. He had a more subtle hand.
Yes.
I think with his directorial style and let the story be, the narrative that had been crafted really speak for itself. It never felt heavy-handed, ever.
Never.
Because we've seen poetic justice. Then we had Baby Bull.
Well, you know what the thing is? I think part of what we're getting at is that they were entertaining. They were never, they weren't just pedantic or dogmatic. Even the scene with Furious literally breaking down the ABCs of gentrification and of economic displacement. It never seemed like they were preaching at you.
It was very subtle. I hate to keep using the word nuance, but it just seemed like he was sharing some knowledge with the kids in the community.
Right. Like you were happy. Like you were like, man, I wish somebody in my age.
And that was the 90s. So to now look, and that's another thing with the whole, like, why I kept just bouncing back and forth between Nipsey Hussle and John Singleton. So now, how much did Hussle talk about that? About taking back the community, look around and see who's buying up what. How is it changing?
Big time.
What do we need to do? We need to have our own stores. And he lived behind that. We need to support one another. We need to lift one another up. And we need to restore, the beauty that was here, that is still here in the community. And
speaking of which,
it's just like another loss after loss, and it's just in the particularly in the West Coast Black artistic community. I mean, it just can't be overstated.
I want to pick up on that thread. Another beautiful Woke with Kids tangent opportunity. The whole thing about gentrification, buying your own neighborhood, investing in your Black community. It all intersects with the Jay-Z shit that just recently happened. So let's all listen to that because I love it, and it's just another excuse for me to listen to the freestyle one time. So that's just what we're gonna do. Hold on.
Until Nipsey moving, to anybody still confused as to what he was doing. Make him out the hood to keep us trapped. The red line of the probably declines if you live by black. I don't think they hear me though.
I mean, I'm never a big Jay-Z fan, but like, I really want to go back and listen to it. Like, I really like him now. He's grown and like,
I appreciate experience.
Grown into himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, matured.
I didn't want it. So that part right there, just that part right there, where he brings up.
As to what he was doing, people moving. That's a small glimpse into what Nipsey was doing. Anybody still confused as to what he was doing?
So some people took offense to his use of the word gentrify your own neighborhood. And I thought that was the oddest thing. Like, actually, I didn't think it was the oddest thing because I know how words work. And I know that words are just vessels for emotion and for like impressions. And so they can be filled with different things for different people. But clearly, some of my woke cousins and my woke brethren felt like he was empowering a sort of white supremacist term, and glorifying it and displacing the displacement.
I think there's a lot of room for that debate because Black people can be gentrifiers.
Talk to me, because I want to hear this perspective. Because
really,
I didn't really.
Black people can be gentrifiers. So
people can or cannot.
Can.
Oh, can. Okay. So we're in agreement.
Oh, yeah. No, very much so. I mean, I think LA is the perfect example. I mean, we would, if we moved to South LA,
yes,
and bought a house at the current rate, and we bought a house at the current rate,
yes,
we would be gentrifiers,
right,
because by supporting the outrageous increase of property values, we are effectively a part of the movement that is displacing lower income families.
Yes.
Because we are not low income and we have the access and the privilege to participate in these transactions that require you to have a certain amount of money. Yeah. And I mean, I can't even front. If I move to a certain area, I might be like, where is the organic coffee? Where is the Trader Joe's?
But luckily,
I'm not gonna fucking bullshit.
No, I mean, no, it's real talk.
Now, would I call the police on the homies on the corner? No. I would
never.
I would say hello. I would walk by. You know what I'm saying?
I would even go.
I'm comfortable. I'm black, so I am comfortable everywhere.
Yes, I'm comfortable.
And when I'm not comfortable, I know what to do.
I know how not to give offense to my people.
And I know how not to put myself in a dangerous situation if the signs are there.
That too.
And I'm not afraid of black people who are black.
No.
I'm not afraid of people who are black. I'm not afraid of black people doing what some black people like to do, which is be loud or hang out or smoke or whatever.
Yeah. Actually, you know what would be more not challenging, but more apropos for me is like if we moved to a neighborhood and it was a lot of Latinos and it was like a lot of loud music or something. Like that would be my challenge.
Well, that would
be my challenge.
That is
That'd be my
different.
challenge.
That's slightly different.
Yeah.
That's still gentrification if we're again buying a house that's wildly overpriced.
Right. And
we attempt to change the neighborhood. Now, I get it. People don't always want people moving in that don't look like them. It's like, well, that's change. I think why I am not as adamant or against black people gentrifying the hood is because there is a bridge there to, and I think more of an incentive to invest in the community and to help people that look like you. Now, to come in and be like, I know better than you, not what I'm suggesting.
Yeah.
Or to say we need to change everything, not what I'm proposing. But there is a greater opportunity for discussion. And if you have that, then you have an opportunity to lift everybody.
Well, you know, that's a thought that I was getting is how to lift everybody up because.
I think that's what Jay-Z is talking about.
Well,
when he is suggesting gentrify your own hood, but again, I get it. Gentrification, the word itself,
is
essentially
for some people,
stemming from, at the very least, white privilege.
Yeah. Because
AKA is like a class
because
issue.
as we experienced it, as we initially experienced it, I think it was at the hands of white supremacy, and the way that it's typically practiced and the way that capital flows and white supremacy flows is that generally the gentrifiers are white people and foreign
even
money.
If each individual or each family is not white, the impetus for the significant change in a particular neighborhood is almost always spearheaded by white people.
Yes.
Because there you have that's where you have the capital, you have the developers, you have the people tearing shit down, you have the owners of the particular buildings pushing people out and deciding this is how things are going to be changed without accounting for the neighborhood, much less getting proper input.
Well, it also points towards an invisible something that we only really get to hint at, and you only really talk directly about when you're an anthropologist or a student of society and culture and that kind of shit, and which I do not pretend to be a serious researcher of said things. We know serious researchers have said things. I am not one. But it does point towards the invisible hand of white culture and how I think white people tend to think of themselves as having no culture or them being of the neutral culture or the default culture, because that is what gives them the audacity to, move into Howard, the neighborhood surrounding Howard University, which has been there for 150 years, and to let their dogs walk on the yard and take shits on the historic campus of the. And
I read a headline that one dude suggested that they should move.
That's exactly the one. And that type of hubris, that type of fucking just caucasity, that only comes from a very firm and difficultly dislodged belief that whatever you're doing is normal.
White culture is two things. White culture is the entrenched belief in manifest destiny and capitalism.
Agree. I would add to that white supremacy, but yes.
Well, white supremacy is predicated on manifest destiny and capitalism.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You don't feel you're supreme unless you have this God-given right to do whatever the fuck you want.
It is,
and if you also believe that your global system of living is the only way, and you are determined to spread it as far and as wide as possible, no matter who you hurt or harm or destroy or kill.
I agree with you on that. I think that is true. I also believe that white culture. I think white culture.
Academic.
No. I think it's good. I think it's solid. I think it's a good bone. I think it's a good foundation to start from.
I mean, that's what I'm.
And that is what we're here to do: is to project our thoughts into the world.
The children.
I think, in addition to, I think to add to that construct, that also I would add to that that part of whiteness is a sense of unyielding normality. I think that everything that white people do is normal. And everything that everyone else does is unnormal.
I think that is particularly pronounced here in the United States of America.
Yes, I think whiteness finds its most perfect bloom in
media. Everything has perpetuated that idea.
Yes.
I mean, we're just now getting to the point in entertainment where, the narrative that humanity is normal. Humanity in all shades and colors and forms.
Sexual configurations.
Yes, identities and gender identities and sizes is normal.
Yes.
And we are starting to, not only is there an appetite to see those images, and an audience, but now the people who make the films and the TV and the songs and et cetera, well, I don't know what the songs, but who create the visual images are finally catching on because there's money to be made, because there is an audience.
That's right.
So.
That's right. John Singleton, back to John Singleton off that tangent. Higher Learning was a movie I saw right before I went to college. It was fantastic.
I think I saw it in college.
I saw it right before. Was it? Were you in college?
I was in college.
Then I must have saw it when I was in college. I was in college then. I had to be in college then. I'm older than you.
I don't know, but I feel like he may have filmed it at USC. I know he's a graduate of USC.
That sounds possible.
And
that sounds possible. All I remember.
There are a lot of white people at USC.
I just remember what's her name? The model.
Tyra.
I remember Tyra being in it.
Yeah.
And everyone having to see it because of that. Because we were like, Tyra can act?
Yeah,
could Tyra act? We were curious. We wanted to see.
She didn't ruin the movie.
She wasn't known for being in front of a camera.
She did okay. Hey, look, honestly, as an actor who has been acting recently, despite what it may appear, it is not always easy. And particularly film acting, there is a definite craft to it. There is a level of discipline and focus and mastery of self that is required to really, for the movies that we enjoy the most. And a lot of times you can get into entertainment and be on TV and be in films without having mastered this.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that was,
and that's okay. I think everyone has to start somewhere, and he gave a lot of people a start in that film. I've never seen Michael Rappaport before playing crazy ass Remy.
Nope. Yeah, Busta Rhymes in there.
Lots of things going on. I'm not mad at Tyra for doing that. And she's from LA. She was from South LA. Like, I'm always gonna be like, you know what, John? I'm proud of you. Yeah. For giving people a chance.
That's right. And I'm 100% sure I'm sure he did not think she was cute at all or anything like that. But you know what I thought that John was doing?
I think the role needed to be. I mean, come on now. We know how.
Yeah.
That's not like a specific to John Singleton, though, thing, though.
No, not at all.
Okay, let's make the main lead girl attractive.
Not at all. I'm just saying, I don't think she was there for her, like, as you mentioned, her acting chops. I think she was the most attractive personification of black young womanhood at the time, and that's who she got asked. Because, and this is my point, is that a lot of people in that movie were not actors, is what I'm saying. He cast a lot of people that were just popular at the time. I keep mentioning Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes cannot act.
Who else was in it that was just popular? Because Omar Epps is definitely an actor.
Well, who else do we even remember being in it, actually?
I'm about to Google it. I'm about to IMDb it. Because I remember mostly actors.
I remember it being a big hubbub because that's the start of people accusing him of not hiring actors anymore and always putting
Christy
rappers.
Swanson, definitely an actor. She was in the original Buffy.
Yup.
Michael Rappaport, clearly Jennifer Connelly been acting since she was a child.
Ice Cube was in it.
But he'd already been in a movie before.
But he was definitely a rapper. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he had already been
like
in
Yeah, but he wasn't
Boys
like
in the Hood.
True, but he wasn't like, I'm just saying.
Okay, Jason Wiles, I don't know him, so he's probably an actor. Cole Hauser, actor. Lawrence Fishburne, master actor. Regina King, obviously. Side note, Regina King just got that multi-year Netflix deal. Hey!
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's amazing. Can we finally just talk about how amazing she is and that she should have had all this? Okay.
She should have been. I would just say that I think my point still stands for having having 2 rappers in the cast is a lot of rappers to have in the cast. That's all I'm saying.
Not for John Singleton.
And then in Poetic Justice, he had Tupac as the main, and he's a rapper.
Yo.
So I'm just saying he had a thing for casting rappers.
Right there.
What?
Tupac is an actor. He was trained. He went to the Baltimore School of the Arts. He was an actor.
Okay.
He had training.
Okay. But I'm just saying he was known for being a rapper. But yes, but he was also known for being a rapper.
Multi-talented.
It just happened. Look, Tupac was a poet.
Saying,
Tupac was a poet.
Look, but Tupac
he turned water into cognac.
But first of all, Tupac was a better actor than Janet. Yes, I said it.
Oh God, yes.
Yes,
Penny
said
Penny
it.
could not act her way out of a
She
goddamn
was only good.
bag.
Let me
my
not.
God.
Let me not. Janet was great as Penny.
Lord have mercy.
But let me just see here. Okay, because he was excellent in Juice, which came out before Poetic Justice.
Mm-hmm.
And later he was in that film with Tim Roth, and that movie itself was not particularly good, but he was amazing.
Was a good movie. I thought it was a good movie. It was a good movie.
They were great in that. Gridlock.
Yeah, yes.
That was a great ass movie. He fucking
cannot front.
Did so amazing in that. So I just want to say Tupac is an actor.
And then John Singleton gave us Baby Boy. Right?
Not my favorite movie, but you know what? Motherfuckers love Baby Boy.
And
Tyrese is also from South LA. I will never forget his look. I will never forget. You know why? He could sing, but you know why we call him a singer? Because up until that point, we had only seen him in that Coca-Cola commercial when he was singing on a bus. But maybe he was really trying to be an actor the whole time.
I'm sure he was. That's why he was singing on the bus. Yeah, that's why he was in a commercial and it wasn't an album.
But that's what I'm saying. He wasn't necessarily a singer. He became a singer.
Okay, maybe Singleton's only casting crimes was that he was hiring the most talented black people.
He had a talent and a knack for hiring multi-talented
polymaths. Yes.
Black artists.
And because also, let's be clear, most black artists got to be good at a couple of different things. It's a tradition. It's a reason that black people dominate entertainment. It's because it's very difficult to entertain black people. We are not very easily amused. Anyway, Baby Boy was a great movie to me. I think it was aimed at a very specific audience, and so you had to be specifically in that laser beam of communication in order to really give a fuck about it. But I thought it was really good, and
it was.
Yeah, anyways, John Singleton.
And would Taraji be where she is without that movie?
God, not even.
Would she be where she is without that movie?
Even. Oh my God.
Nobody say nothing bad about Baby Boy.
No.
So I make sure.
So I don't. Okay, this is not a retrospective of every John Singleton film.
I know. It's just
It's just it was I think he had more to do. He was executive producing Snowfall, which is a great. Is it Snowfall?
Snowfall.
Yeah, which is a great. Not The Shy. I was about to say The Shy. That's
wrong. That's a totally different.
That is
one.
Lena. That is Lena. No, Lena
Waithe. Four Brothers, Shaft. He had a lot. He had a lot.
Four Brothers was good.
I know.
That was really
super
good.
slept on.
That was really good. That was a really good
I think that was a really... I'm looking here. It says 19 films he directed. That's not a lot. He clearly had so much more to do if he had time. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
He directed Rosewood? That was my shit right there.
Yes,
let's talk about that
seminal.
Really briefly.
Rosewood is seminal.
My parents are from Jamaica, and I grew up in Southern California. So I did not grow up having any understanding of really about outside of slavery. I just knew what the white people told me in school. I knew Jamaican history. I know the history of slavery. I know the transatlantic. I know all that. But I did not know about what happened after slavery in the American South. I did not know about these all-black communities.
Right.
I learned about Zora Neale Hurston in college later, then went back and be like, okay, this is where she grew up.
Right.
In Florida.
Right.
You know, then you learn about Black Wall Street and Oklahoma and all these other communities. And so when I saw Rosewood, I mean, it was definitely one of those films that opened my eyes, that transported me, that opened my heart so much in so many ways where I was like, whoa.
It's been a long time.
Many stories. And again, the nuances of Black people as fully realized human beings. It was amazing to me. That was always a film that really impacted me. And I had forgot that he directed it.
I haven't seen it in a long time. Ving Rhames. Is Ving Rhames still alive?
He's in it, yeah. Written by a white dude, but you know what? I'm not mad.
No,
hey, white people.
I think the direction is more important than the writing, to be honest with you.
Whoa.
My opinion.
In the visual, primarily visual,
I think in the media, I mean, look, as a writer,
slightly, I would say slightly more.
As a writer of story, as a writer of like story,
only slightly more.
I'm just saying, I just think
in the theater, the words are everything. The writer,
in the
is
theater,
more.
Sure.
But either way, I just think even that idea that no white person can write a story about Black people is a little naive, because that's, I think, what leads to where we are now, where it's like, Black people don't know white people don't know Black people. Actually, come on now. We all know what the fuck happened. And the more we resist owning the story as a whole for ourselves and for each other, we can't really ever heal and move past it.
We can't have it both ways. We can't.
No, we can't.
We can't say universal human dignity and then say there's no universal humanity.
And I can't say that the dude didn't do what he needed to do to properly represent. And I just finished saying how much I love the movie. So, I mean, apparently the white dude did a good job.
Yeah, exactly. No, definitely.
And yes, Ving Rhames killed it and carried that movie.
1,000%. 1,000%.
I hope he's still alive. Like, damn, now you got me tripping.
I can't remember. No, the guy from Green Mile is the one.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Duncan.
Died.
Yeah,
Michael Clark Duncan. Ving Rhames still alive. He's kicking. His birthday coming up in 10 days.
We gotta talk about. I don't want to talk about it, but we gotta talk about it.
I have to get some more wine.
Okay.
So you go ahead and start talking about some shit.
Okay, this is cool. Look,
I know you can do it.
I'm gonna talk about a couple of headlines that aren't super important, but I just was interested until she gets back.
Green Dot now?
Who? Green Dot. Yeah, I've been shopping at Green Dot. Mm-hmm. Green Dot is the delivery service. I don't do that yet. Okay, so listen, Facebook wants to let you know who has a crush on you. Okay, do you not have enough ways for people to flirt with you, ladies? Do you live in a world where you don't have enough anonymous people telling you how much they need you and want you and all kinds of things? Well, Facebook doesn't think so. So they are here to help you. Find your secret crush. Facebook, stop trying to get better. Stop. You're so creepy. You're like that creepy boyfriend that you're like, not even a boyfriend. It's like your weed dealer. He has to come over to deliver your weed, but just like he won't leave, and he's like, hey, I got this whole new thing, and first I'm gonna tap dance and sing you a song.
I'm afraid to ask what you're talking about.
Oh, I was talking about Facebook wants to introduce this new feature to let people. It's like a dating service, and they want to let people let you know that they have a secret crush on you, and I was just wondering aloud, like, do women not has Facebook met women? Like, do they need another place for men? Well,
this is what's kind of weird about that is because apparently sliding in the DMs is a thing and it works sometimes. And Facebook owns Instagram, so why do they need to double down?
It's just what I was thinking. They're just trying to think of more ways. Look, they're coming out with a new cryptocurrency. They're just trying to think of all these ways to like creep into your life and like corporations and companies used to be fine when they were just selling me washing machines and VCRs and fucking trips to, Walt Disneyland. That was great. That was like you were looking out for me. But now these corporations are evolving into these things that can't just sell us things. They have to own pieces of us. They've got to own our pictures. They've got to own our fucking trivial, random streams of thought. They've got to own our political views. They've got to own our apparently our dating life. Yeah, they do. They're doing it. They're totally doing it. We're like so self-phobic. Like, I mean, I think about this the other day. Like, I was walking down the street, and I don't want to be judged by these people. Nobody fucking judge me. Hey, Auntie Amina, how you doing, Auntie, my dude? So I'm walking down the street, and my neighbor, I'm like 2 blocks down. I'm with the kids, and I pass this guy, and I'm like, "There's a new guy moving to the neighborhood. He's got 2 kids, and one of them is almost Lex's age." And I'm like, "Hey guys, hey neighbors, hey, pleasure to meet you, whatever." And the guy walks over, and he's like, "Hey guys, hey," and he shakes my hand. I was like, "Hey," he's like, I was like, "You know my name?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You didn't just move in?" He was like, "Nah, I've been here for 2 years. We've been here 2 years." I've been like, "Oh my God." I didn't even know my neighbors. You know what I mean?
Wait, who is it?
These guys that live in like that, that house that turns over a lot with the garage, the tan colored house.
Next to the big house?
Next to the big house, yes, exactly. Next to the big house. They've been there 2 years. I didn't even realize
the homies used to live?
I didn't even realize the homies had left. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't
knew
even
that. They've been gone.
I kind of knew it, but I didn't know. My point being,
he cut his dreads.
That's weird.
No, it's not.
That's great, but no. But my point is,
time.
No, it is. It was well past time, actually.
I don't know his life like that, but
cutting white dreads is never a bad idea, guys. I'm always in favor of that. You guys have such naturally luxurious long hair when you want it.
I'm so mad at
just
you.
let it be.
Save that.
Listen.
Oh my God.
But I know what all of my Facebook friends are doing. I'm on my Instagram stories. I know what everybody's latest chakra, heartstone, yoni egg thing is. I know what all of this is going on my Facebook. Don't judge me what I follow on Instagram. But I don't know any of my neighbors. And this is why these social media companies win, is because we would rather deal with the proxy of the virtual interface than deal with actual human beings and shit.
That's you. I know my neighbors.
I said I didn't want to be judged. I know that's me. I am a lot of people, though. I represent a lot of people.
I'm just saying that's what keeps that is one of the ways I keep our house safe.
I know you do, and I'm grateful for it. But I'm just saying there's a lot of people like me.
I don't know that dude's name, though. I didn't know. I never talked to him. I didn't know he knew your name. That's crazy.
I've forgotten his name already. I think maybe the other neighbor called him. I don't know.
But look, he lives between two
Christina.
people that know us pretty well. Hi, Christina. I miss you.
Yeah. Hey, John. How you doing?
I think about you a lot.
And Tamra, how you doing?
We should call each other soon.
Yeah.
I was just texting another mom that I haven't talked to in forever. She left school. I was like, "Hey, I miss you." I was like, "I think about you all the time. I hope you're doing good." And she was like, "Yeah, me too." She's like, "But this made me feel good." And she was like, "You're like that friend that like I never talk to, but I always feel like we're close and we're good friends." And I'm like, and I was just like, all caps, I am that friend.
Yes.
I am that friend with it. Like, the love is genuine. We just don't.
It's part of that Celestine prophecy
interact.
group. It's the Celestine prophecy group that you hear with. Hey John, how you doing, buddy? Timer Turner, small flex. I think I know what you were referring to is when we said that we are not we're not low income people. That's why we can gentrify. That's right.
What?
Oh, Timer was talking about small flex.
Oh,
yeah.
No. I mean,
I think that's what you're referring to. And
I
you
can
are
see
right.
how it sounds like that. But
I mean it that way.
We
You're right.
are
I work hard.
Middle class or whatever gentrifiers in the sense that we have access to credit.
That's
little bit, but we are
generational.
We are deep in debt.
We are deep in debt, but we also have access to generational wealth in the form of my father, who has done significantly well for himself as a black man.
Well, that's amazing. That's
South.
what I'm here. Yo, I just read this book called Money Love. Yo, so my therapist, I gotta just preach on this for a minute. Talking to my therapist, and I was like, I need to double my monthly income, and it was still a low number. And she was like, why is your goal so low? And I was like, huh? And I was like, huh? So my goal for my yearly was still very low, like I mean, above poverty, but very low.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I see you making $150,000 a year.
I see it.
I said, what? And I still cannot wrap my mind around it. And it was just like the way my heart opened up and I just like levitated, it just gave me like a whole new perspective. And I was like, oh my God, why am I thinking of my earning capabilities and potential so low as just like the bare minimum of what I need?
Yes.
And the whole reason that had come about was just talking about so much of money or how much you make and this and that is how you think about money.
Yes.
And therefore how you spend it, how you don't spend it. And that was really the conversation. And it just got me thinking like, wow, I really need to examine my beliefs about money in order to transform the reality of my money situation.
Well, look, the thing is,
and it was just it was like real deep.
I love
because
this.
then, but let me just finish it up. So then, when I told my mom, she was like, "Oh yeah," she's like, "Well, maybe just 100,000." I was like, "But see, right there, see, you did it."
Why you already shrinking?
I said, that's what I said.
Why are you shrinking?
I wasn't trying to get on her, but I was like, but you kind of did it right there. Yeah. I already knew that part of my beliefs about money is based, it's always from your childhood. What was the situation growing up at home?
Yes.
But right there, she couldn't just be like, fuck it, why not 200,000? She didn't go up, and she did not affirm the 150.
Yes.
She said, well, maybe 100,000. I said, well, Steve, stop right there.
Yes.
I said, no, we talking 150,000, not 100,000. And I need you on board with that because I'm trying to get, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And it was the little thing. And obviously I love my mom and she's not trying to do no harm. But I think so many of us,
she's a carrier,
Black people, we are thinking, please, if you're stressing about your money situation, you need to examine your beliefs about money. Don't look at the number. It's just a number. It does not control you. It's your belief about money that is affecting your money, the reality of your money situation. And so if you decide you should be a millionaire, don't let nobody tell you can't be a millionaire.
Honestly, what I would recommend...
It's not going to happen overnight.
Everybody has a different approach to the truth, but I love talking about money theory. And the biggest thing that you got to understand about money is that money is mental. Money is completely... in the mind is what I mean. It is in the mind. It is a completely virtual thing. It is a thing that does not exist unless two people agree on it. This is the nature of money, guys. It's not based on gold coins in a dragon hoard. It's not based on some secret stash of vibranium underneath a mountain. It's based on governments agreeing with each other. And when I say governments, I essentially mean small groups of mostly white men who agree that this is what this
World
is
Bank.
worth. Yeah, this is what this is worth.
International Monetary Fund.
Now, on the level that we talking, the level of human beings, this same thing happens. Because this is exactly what I'm talking about my bad day, but I don't really want to get into it, is that I go to work, and every day in our late capitalist system, it's unfortunate this is the way it is, because it's not because the people I work with are bad people or because they're even in control or able to shape the way that this interaction, it's because of the way capitalism is set up and the way that we have this at-will work economy, is that I go to a place where I have to work with people and do my best and give everything I can in good faith that they are looking out for my best interest, when in actuality, the relationship that we have is that I am supposed to gouge them for as much money as I can possibly get in order to feed my family, and they are supposed to try to pay me as little as possible in order for them to get the work and labor that they need in order to make a profit on their business. Our interests are not mutually aligned. And so the way that management is set up, the way that management exists in this country is derived essentially from slavery, where it's always in the best interest of your employer to make you think that what you do ain't shit, to make you think that you are always fucking up, to make you feel like you don't really have a handle on this and that you need the corporation and the structure more than it needs you, so that you become dependent and you don't look for other work and you just work within the structure and you humbly accept that shit. But in capitalism, the object is to acquire more capital, not to prolong your position. It's to acquire more capital and move up the system. So if you were really looking out for your best interest, what you would do is you would change jobs often, which is what I've done historically in the past. But what I'm just getting at is that that was the revelation of my life, was to realize that I don't have to sit still and take it. Nobody has to sit still and take it. That's exactly what the white people who were shivering their asses off 1,000 years ago in Europe figured out when they were like, you know what, we got boats and motherfucking guns. What the hell are we over here not having fucking bananas for all goddamn year long?
I learned a lot about money from my boss. So I work for maybe a 50-year-old Iranian dude, and he has worked very closely with his 80-something-year-old Iranian father. So civil engineer and maybe some other kind of engineer. And the dad owns the building that the son has an office in, who's the contractor developer. And he's renting out the second floor. And so these white people, the two brokers for him and for the client are white dudes. And the client is white dude who owns this company. And they, every time they would negotiate on the agreement and be like, okay, cool, this is it, I'm going to sign it. The broker for the client would write in some extra shit and sign that and send it. And then the dad would read it with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, if he says and they put then, he's like, there's a mistake. You need to change that. And he was getting really frustrated. And I heard the two brokers conversing. So, and again, this is a little lesson. It's like, you think, okay, these white people know something you don't know. I heard the dude, he's in the office, he called the young broker, and he was just like, look, this guy, he's like old school. So basically the young broker is basically like, this is how he works. This is how it works nowadays. You always try to get more than you can. And if they don't notice it, then they sign off on it. And then now he's contractually obligated to put in whatever extra shit you have written in. But this old dude is like, that's not what I said I would do, and I'm not signing that shit. So it was prolonged. And essentially he kept being like, look, this is like too much bullshit. Like, I'll just find a new tenant. And they were like, no, we want it. And they were kind of being like, so he was like, look, talk to your fucking broker, because he's the one fucking the shit up right now. Because what we talk about on the phone is not what your broker wrote in after we agreed. So I heard the old dude's broker call the young broker, and be like, look, he's old school, and basically what he writes in this contract, this agreement, is used by this other white dude who got a lot of money, so this should be solid. And basically every time he writes some shit, it makes him feel like he don't want to fuck with y'all. So just stop doing that. And that's almost word for word what he said. And I was like, okay, he's not using some type of legalese that I would say.
No, he's just applying.
He did not use any terms, anything that you had to go to school for. I mean, it was just literally straight talk.
You know, the thing is that, and that's a funny thing you mentioned that way. I am educated. I actually did go to school. I actually do have a fairly extensive vocabulary when I'm not inebriated. But when I go to work and I am trying to get things done, it is actually impractical and an impediment for me to have to deploy that vocabulary in every instance to prove to people, to try to prove to motherfuckers that I'm smart just because because I have dreadlocks and I don't,
But look, I think they thought this old Iranian dude wasn't gonna fucking pay attention.
They think they always.
So then
think that, yes.
He came in. Finally, the shit is signed. They came in to sign it. It's finally getting done. So the young broker, they put down like this. It's like for 5 years. This dude just made $1 million basically over 5 years. And the young dude came in, was like, okay, here's the deposit. And the young dude made a comment like, oh, it's a lot of money. Like, hey. And the old dude was like, And he was like, you're happy, right? And the old man was like, I'm just glad it's done because it's kind of a headache. That's what he said.
Wonderful. $1 million headache.
And yes. And I could tell the young dude, the young white man, was focused on the money. And he thought, oh, it's the money that's going to get him. The money is why I will be able to slip in all this extra language just because. And
the old dude was
it's not going to be, or like whatever it was for like his fee. I mean, at one point, the old man was like, look, here you said you was going to make this amount. And here you said you was going to make this amount. And it was literally less than $1. It was less than it totaled up to less than $1. And he was like, can you change that? To go back to what we said over here. One of the I learned so much.
One of the characteristics of people that have money is that they appreciate money. But one of the things that they also understand is that the inventory they have is time, and that there's certain
exactly. This man knew the value of what he had.
Yeah.
He said, I don't need y'all. Y'all need me.
Absolutely. And when you get to that, level, when you get to the level when you have an expertise and you can think clearly and you can apply your mind to a problem practically, what you're selling in is the inventory of your time. And you have to decide, like, what is your time worth? I remember when I was a kid, my uncle who never went to college, you've met him before, Uncle Glenn, big old round, light skinned, chubby Uncle Glenn. He didn't own it, but he managed a parking lot that was owned by some white men, but the white men couldn't make any value out of the parking lot because the parking lot was in pre-gentrified DC, downtown DC, and it was full of crackheads and drug dealers and gangbangers. So he couldn't monetize the property, but my uncle could because he was a ex-thug himself who had been through the system and knew his way around the streets. So he went down there and started to clean out this parking lot, hired another friend of his who could handle himself, and they began to rent it out as a parking lot. It was a parking lot, and it was near clubs or whatever, and they made a bunch of money. The white man saw what he did, and he gave him another couple parking lots, and eventually my uncle started run like 2 or 3 of these parking lots, 3 or 4 of these parking lots. He then also started to, when people would leave their cars, he would tow them, and then people would not come get the impounded cars, and he started to sell them on the lot. So then he started turn them into parking lots. Man, my uncle was so, and I used to ask him, like, how did you figure out how to do all this? He said, me and my partner sat down one day after we got out of jail. And
Your Uncle Glenn went to jail?
Oh, Uncle Glenn was.
I didn't know that.
He said Uncle Glenn, and then he sat down with his partner and he said, we just decided this is how much money we need to make, never to get in trouble again. And they decided it was.
But I think that's what I'm saying. Like, it's even more than that, though, because that's what I was talking about when I was with my therapist. But it was like, you can act. It's like, so you can think bigger than that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But my at that time, they had nothing. And these are 2 Negroes from the hood just came out of prison. They said, well, look, we want to make $100,000
right, that's
a
what
year
I'm
for each
saying.
person.
Set the number high, y'all.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, they
set it high.
And to this day, my uncle got the truck and the Jaguar and the house out in the, you know what I'm saying? Like, he made something of himself, is what I'm saying. He made something of himself, and it was all because of the power of his mind, and he understood the value of his inventory, which was his time. And
I think to piggyback on that is that it wasn't specifically the dollar amount. That's what I learned from this old dude as well. It wasn't the $1 million. He said, it's my time and the value of what I know I have.
That's right.
So he said, so he was willing to wait it out.
That's right.
And I think what is so difficult for our community is because of systemic racism. We're always behind and trying to catch up, so that we get stuck on that dollar amount.
Yes.
Just trying to pay the light bill.
That's right.
Keep the phone on.
Yes.
Keep the heat on.
I mean, even when you think about what we're spending money on, all of that shit is to save time. All of the things that we do that we spend money on are things that used to take up the whole fucking day just to stay alive. Getting water. If you're in Africa or in a third world country, somewhere in Asia, where you're outside of a metropolitan area, if you're a young kid, 90% you're not going to school. 90% of your time is walking wherever the fuck there is a source of water, putting it in something and bringing it back to your household so y'all can have water to survive on. Then there's the gathering of food, the preparation of food. I mean, things that we don't even think about, all of the time that it takes to do.
I think also in our industrialized nations, I'm reading this book right now, and part of it is like, okay, so to examine how you spend your money, you need to have basically a journal. And so for everything you spend, how do you feel about it? Our thoughts and feelings are really what is controlling our money.
Interesting. So
when you pay the rent, do you feel good about that? Or are you like, fuck? So or are you just neutral? Like, okay, gotta do it. I had the money, I paid it. Or when you buy some bullshit, do you feel good about it? Or are you like, damn, I shouldn't be spending this money, but I'm gonna do it anyway? Or are you spending the money where you're like, you know what, I worked really hard, I'm gonna use this, I need this, and it is also something that is gonna enable me to be more productive, happier, bring more joy, or be a gift, bring joy to somebody else, and you feel abundant about it. So the journal is basically, for every dollar you spend, you write down what it was, how much it was, and was it an abundant spend, was it a neutral spend, or was it a spend out of scarcity?
That's great.
And when you look at that, and before I had even spent any money, I was like, oh, I already know. Some of that shit I already know. Some of them coffee spends is out of scarcity. So I was like, oh, I'm feeling tired, da 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 da. But every time I buy it, I'm like, shit, I shouldn't be spending this money. And then you know what? I look at the end of the month, I'm like, fuck, I spent too much money on coffee. I should have just made another cup and brought my shit. But then if I spent more, like double, triple, quadruple the amount on groceries, I feel good about it because I'm like, well, I need food. The kids need food. I'm happy I can spend it. Yeah. And it's not on credit. I had the money. Yeah. So that's, even if it's more dollar amount, it's an abundant spend because I feel good about it. Whereas the $5 spend on a coffee is a scarcity spend because if it's like some retail therapy or just some bullshit, you're like, okay, I knew I shouldn't be spending it, or I'm putting it on credit. I don't have the money. That's out of scarcity. And then if it's just like whatever, a haircut, okay, it might be neutral because it's like, fuck, I gotta have a haircut. I don't really feel one way or another about it. So when you start to examine that, the goal would be to minimize the scarcity spends and maximize your abundant, or at the very least, your neutral spends.
Word.
And by that approach,
it's like Marie Kondo of your finances.
By that approach, if you really stick to it and you begin to examine your feelings about it before you spend it, you could end up saving money on the things because you will begin to slow down on the things that you don't need to be buying.
Well, you know what I've recently began to derive a great deal of pleasure from is actually investment. It's something that I don't think that we're taught, especially as Black people. We're just not introduced to the concept of it very early.
No,
so even saving, like I'm bad at savings, and I realize like I have a lot of savings accounts and I put money in them, but then I end up always using it. But there is one saving account that I don't fuck with, which is like if I put it in my 401k or if I put it on my Amerifunds or my Vanguard or something like that, it's gone. It's right.
Like
I let that.
Once it accrues interest and you see that money going up,
you're like, oh, I like that feeling.
It's an abundant spend.
It's a good feeling.
You spent the money, but it's an abundant spend.
Now it's
you feel
growing.
good about it.
And it's growing, yeah.
So the key is to become more disciplined in how you spend your money by examining your thoughts and feelings about the spend. And then the same way with the income that you get.
And also right now, if you have a job, if you're blessed enough to have a job that has a 401k, if you're not, and they have some sort of matching funds, you should be contributing as much as you can right now, because for all of the crazy shit that Trump is doing and for all of the evil and he's perpetrating in office, for whatever fucking reason, because of Saint Obama putting this economy back right and whipping this shit into shape for the next 10 years, the economy is great and the stock market is booming and my 401k keeps fucking.
But also what's crazy is that too is like again, it's like, okay, you got a little like savings. Sometimes you do need to spend that. And again, it's that scarcity mindset that will make you think you can't spend that. But that's the money you need. But it's like, it's better to spend that than to rack up your debt.
No, I give you a perfect example.
So
the reason
I'm saying,
I give you a perfect example of abundance though. No, exactly what you're saying. When I got upset at work, my usually what I feel is a panic of like, oh no, what's going to happen? If I don't have a job, whatever. But then actually I looked at my joint and I was like, real talk, worst come to worst, I just cracked that piggy bank open and we'd be straight for a couple of months.
Well, this is what I'm saying. But I understand that a lot of people don't have that. And for a long time, I didn't have that. And I don't have that much. So you don't have really that much, for a family of four.
And not in LA.
Part of it is, again, the thoughts and feelings. So if you're going to feel better about going to work because that paycheck allows you to buy the things that you need or put away a little bit and save, then that might be an opportunity for motivation to go into fucking work.
Yes, 100%. That is the motivation.
That is a better feeling.
The motivation is that my job has a great matching 401k plan, and I appreciate that, and I want to take advantage of it. And thank you guys. Thank you very much for being here.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It was just really great. Not only to examine my thoughts and beliefs about money, but also to begin to examine how I spend my money and my thoughts and feelings every time I do spend money. And again, you let that motivate me to potentially work in a different way so that I can maximize the earnings and or spendings that make me feel good.
I think that.
And
I'm using one of my new.
I mean, I have to second that.
So, I don't even know how we got to this tangent.
Money, I don't know either.
The Holy Spirit compelled us to testify, and we had to talk about it.
I'm reading a book called, it's a quick read. I read it in one night. It's called Money Love by Meadow DeVore. And it was just it's such an easy read. And it just basically was like, think about how you think about money. It's nothing's overnight, but once you start that, it's like, if anything, once you do the work, results happen. You can begin to change things.
Hey.
And that's what we all want, right?
Think and grow rich, y'all. Think and grow rich. We would be remiss on this podcast, which is of a political bent usually, if we did not mention that William Barr testified today or yesterday.
I thought he skipped out on today.
No, it was yesterday. He testified yesterday in front of the Senate, and he skipped out of testifying in front of the House.
I love the headline that Kamala Harris gutted him like a fish and left him flopping. I have not seen this footage yet, but I heard it was spectacular. She just basically nailed him to the. Yeah, I mean, so what I like about her, I mean, this was the funny thing too. It was like, we got a former attorney general asking questions of an attorney general. So It was like, bitch, I know what the fuck your job is. Yeah. I know what the fuck you're supposed to do. Yeah. I know the law. So he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
She had this motherfucker stuttering and umming and basically doing everything he could in his power not to say what the fuck the truth was.
Well, this
and then he skipped out.
We're now in unprecedented territory. Congress has subpoenaed this guy, and back in the day, Congress could send the security forces over to come get you, but now they got guns. And when that was brought up, Trump's administration said, well, they got a lot of guns over there, so that's an implicit threat. So right now it's a standoff. You know, Congress can't force these people like physically to come testify, but theoretically they have to. So now the next step for Pelosi is whether to actually start impeachment. It's almost funny because his refusal to testify in front of Congress only opens up a few avenues of recourse for them, one of which is being to open up preliminary impeachment hearings, which have more compulsion.
Well, this is the bullshit right here, because he's kind of fucking his own shit up right here. Because basically the core of Senator Harris's, or is she Congresswoman? She's Senator. Senator Harris's questioning was did Trump commit obstruction of justice? If that's what was in the report, why did you say basically he didn't do it? And she asked him, did you review the underlying evidence that supported the findings in the report? And he was like, no. She was like, really though? Because basically, I mean, this is like, of all the case, like, and he was like, well,
I'm not an expert, but I've watched Law and Order.
Right. He was like, we don't look at all the underlying evidence for every case. And she was like, okay, I feel you. She was like, I did your job, I feel you, but this case in particular is
I understand you don't do them all. I understand you don't do them all.
The commander-in-chief.
Not all of them.
In regards to his election.
How about any of them?
And his ability to govern in a way that is not significantly influenced by outside parties and self-serving. So of all the cases, and y'all is Department of Justice, so y'all is the highest court.
Just curious,
not
guys.
Court, highest law.
The top cop. They're the top cop
in the land
of the land,
essentially ruling
justice
on the top person in the country. So that being said, wouldn't this take top priority and maybe use all of your resources to investigate?
Busy.
Essentially look at the underlying evidence. And he was like, well, what had happened was
busy investigating all that spying on the Trump campaign.
And not only that, but basically he made a ruling definitively before he had read anything. And now this nigga, the Rosenstein, is like, I'm officially out in a week.
Yeah, he like, peace.
So it's like,
Thank you.
So
Nothing
neither
to see
you
here. I'm out.
or him
Thank you.
reviewed the underlying evidence, but y'all are sure we're cool on
and now we also
obstruction of
know,
justice.
and we also know that now that Mueller wrote a letter
and said, "What the fuck?"
and said, "Yo,
What the fuck are y'all doing?"
He said, "What we not gonna do here? First of all."
And then then Barr tried to put it back on Mueller. Well, he was the dude who said this. He's the one. But she was like, "But you're the one who made the ruling. But you're the guy."
Yeah, exactly. It can't be both ways, Mr. Barr. It can't be your baby. Once you received it, it was your baby. Is what you said, and then also that Mueller had to make up your mind for you.
Yeah, Mueller was
Come
like,
on.
Barr.
Yeah.
You a fucking bitch ass nigga. That's what he said.
He said, you know you fucked up now. You know you fucked up, right?
So, I mean, this is the thing, though. I with my limited legalese.
Oh, Pelosi called him Nixon. She's not. When Pelosi starts just saying like, you know what, this is just unbelievable.
Look, I'm no lawyer. But my feelings are that there are more than enough grounds to begin preliminary impeachment hearing. Yeah. But this is a big but. What in the long-term game will we Democrats or people trying to elect someone else other than Trump?
I know you're going there.
Gain.
This is bigger. This is bigger than the election.
Enough.
This is bigger than the election, though. This is about the I mean, it maybe not.
I feel like, okay, look, I hear what you're saying.
This is about co-equal branches of government.
I get it, but here's the thing, and this is where I think Democrats are always shaky. We need a short-term plan and a long-term plan. So what the fuck is? I read that Biden is now like the top front runner.
He was the front runner when he came out.
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to be Hillary.
So
that's a given.
So really, though, because he can get all these swing states. The
firefighter union came out.
And Trump tried to be like, "What the fuck?"
He retweeted 60 people who said they were not for it. Who are firefighters who are basically pooping. So ridiculous.
Because of
He's
that,
scared. He was scared.
Because of that, I'm like, okay, I'll look at Biden.
I personally think, look, Biden is not my choice. I'm not excited by an old white dude.
Not at all.
But I do think if
he got a chance,
if Trump is Mothra or Ghidorah, then Biden is Godzilla. They're the kaijus of white male privilege.
So now my new thing is, okay, Biden for president, Kamala as vice.
Then Biden dies.
Or just leaves.
He's 100 million years old.
And then
Biden is 1,000 years old. And then
Kamala be president. I'm cool with that. I can wait another 4 years for Kamala to be president. Yeah. I'm really curious what would happen to have a former prosecutor as the commander-in-chief. I mean, I'm curious on like a global stage. Like, how is she... I'm really curious to see how she will approach talks with North Korea.
I mean,
or Saudi Arabia.
Just the
because
idea of a black
she's
woman,
basically going to be like, okay, so let me get this straight. This is what you did, and this is what happened. So why did you do that?
I'm just
Can you explain that to me?
If a black woman gets elected president,
I mean, I can die happy.
Do you know how many goddamn T-shirts are going to be on the streets?
I know. We thought Obama
Do you understand?
We thought Obama
the level
produced
of
a lot of
negrosity.
merch.
Do you understand the level of negrosity that you motherfuckers will have unleashed
on
the world?
If Kamala became president, I might have to relax my hair again.
With a name like Kamala, too?
I might relax my hair.
With a name like Obama and then Kamala?
I might have to get a little silk press.
Listen, y'all.
I might have to get a little silk press.
Listen, I don't know.
In honor.
Listen, if Kamala gets elected president in any form or fashion, then we will have definitive, objective proof that we are living in Earth A again. Okay? Because right now, all signs point to bad news that we are in fucking bizarro.
So I mean, it was a very interesting development. You know, it made it interesting again.
Yeah.
Although I do like some of the things Elizabeth Warren is saying. She was like,
I like
hospitals
Elizabeth,
about to get some extra money if they address this Black maternal health issue that we have going on.
It won't happen. It won't happen.
No, it won't happen. But the fact that she said that shit.
No. I was going to say it won't happen, but Elizabeth but Biden and Elizabeth should be a ticket. They'd be like the unstoppable Midwest duo. They would be like,
they could get it.
They would be the anti-Trump. They would be the anti-Trump pill.
Yeah, Kamala will still like those people off.
Yeah,
and she's so effective. Yeah. I feel in the few years that here's also my thing. We need the Senate as well. All these motherfucking Democrats who have all this profile and charisma, all running for POTUS. Who are they going to work with? Some of y'all got to be followers. Everybody can't be the head man. Everyone cannot be the chief, okay? I prefer the term supporters.
Supporters.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Supporters. Whatever it is, but it's
got to be a multi-pronged approach. So we can't have everybody going for the steering wheel.
I appreciated Stacey Abrams' bow out.
I love her.
I think she made the right move. I think I want to see her. I'd love to see her in 8 years. I think she'd be amazing. But I think she should do whatever she wants to do and grow as she wants to grow. She didn't have to run on art. She didn't have to run for president just because we're all starved for an entertaining presidential candidate. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all
competent.
Yeah, like y'all deserve it. Y'all no, we don't deserve it. The people that elected Trump.
She has a mission.
Yes, she has a mission.
This voter suppression and disenfranchisement.
She has real work to do.
She has a real work to do, and ain't nobody else saying nothing she's saying.
Yes, thank you.
With the momentum that she has,
that's right.
She is going to be, I think, more effective in the role that she has envisioned for herself.
We just got to remember that there are multiple positions to play in this game.
My God.
And that everyone cannot be the
chess,
quarterback.
Y'all, not
everyone
checkers.
Can't be the
it's
quarterback.
Fucking chess.
Anyway, okay, look, we've talked a lot. Oh, but I do got to mention one other thing. Instagram and Facebook banned a bunch of far-right extremists, and one of them happened to be Farrakhan.
Oh.
So,
well, I mean, the motherfucker has said some outrageous things over the years.
He has said things which I don't know. I'm torn. I have a lot of Jewish friends, and so I will not say anything to... I'm not definitely want to endorse any of the anti-Israel. Bless you. I can't endorse any of the anti-Israel things he ever said. And you know, he's a complicated dude. Look, the president of Israel is a complicated dude. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really wants to defend your uncle. Okay. Farrakhan is an uncle of the black people. All right. He is still at the cookout. He gonna be at the cookout. He's not getting. Banished, whatever.
I by no means think that we should ban Farrakhan.
Yeah, and the thing is, it doesn't even matter.
Canceling him.
My thing is, it doesn't even matter if he's on Instagram or Facebook. I mean, like, I know those seem like important platforms, but the Final Call has been around since before anybody wanted it to be a Final Call. And he has a website, and the nation will still be the nation.
That's what I'm saying. When you at the stoplight at the corner of Crenshaw and Slauson,
look, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they will still be there.
This is how I know Facebook is not connected to the real world, because the Nation of Islam is the security force of the hood. Okay, like anytime there's a public gathering or any kind of festival or something, the people that we trust and we look to for like, yo, is everything okay? Is it going to be safe there? You want to see the fruit of Islam. If I see a bunch of police, I'm like, anything can happen.
Oh, no question.
No, you want to see the fruit of Islam. So I'm just saying, like, it's just out of touch that Farrakhan and these people are lumped into, like, Farrakhan may say some crazy things, but at the core of what he's talking about is black liberation. He's saying he wants black people to be free.
Which makes sense why Facebook would be like, yeah, we're going to slightly distance ourselves from that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, other people that they're biased against are actual virulent, outright anti-Semites.
True.
And white supremacists and conspiracy theorists and all this kind of, and yeah, Farrakhan do have a bunch of conspiracy theories. But in his defense, he's black. And black people are the only people, except for Indians, except for natives, who have actually been the victim of legitimate, real, goddamn conspiracies in this country. Okay? Y'all cannot keep gaslighting us like this and saying that we need to calm down. You have actually done things to us. And so Farrakhan cannot be in the same grouping is that, but I agree he has said some crazy shit. And if you don't want him on your privately owned platform, Mr. Zuckerberg, that is your absolute.
And he's the guy. He just has to take the fall.
That is
okay.
Your
Facebook is
choice.
Making a stand, and he's the black dude that got to take the fall.
It's fine as long as we.
He's just the figurehead. I mean, like I said, the niggas is out on the corner.
Exactly.
So if you want to know, you can get the information.
And if you want InfoWars, and if you want Milo,
all that shit's still gonna be
Yiannopoulos, all these people,
available.
they're all going to be on the internet. They don't go anywhere. Facebook doesn't have some kind of monopoly on spreading stupidity, and people always find.
And we already know Facebook is easily hacked, and all the shit was spread, and so I think many people are wary of the information that they will read,
and they should be,
as they should be,
and you should be.
And I hope that going into the 2020 election, we are all a bit more just savvy in terms of where we get our information.
Certainly hope so.
And in verifying the information that we read.
I can't think of a better note of wisdom to leave on than that. Let's just wrap this bad boy up. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. Come check us out on...
The last thing I'll say is, if y'all don't know, y'all need to know about Miss Brene Brown.
Okay.
She's amazing. She's a white lady from Houston, Texas, social researcher who studies shame, vulnerability, etc. And she's written many successful books. She has one of the most popular TED Talks ever. And she has a pretty short special on Netflix.
Is she that cute old white lady who's
I don't know if she's cute, but
who asked the audience? They're like, everybody raise your hand. That they should do that experiment.
If what?
If you, I can't remember the thought experiment.
I don't know. I don't feel like everybody does that.
I don't know. She has a very good one though. She does.
She's very Southern. She's very charming.
Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about. But anyway,
okay, I don't know.
Okay, different.
But she's got a special on Netflix. It's basically like something about courage and how you can have courage without vulnerability, and it's really good. And I want to just highly recommend that everyone take the hour and watch it.
Right on.
Because I know sometimes like reading the book not gonna happen. Going to TED.com, maybe not gonna happen, but Netflix is happening. It's already happening. So check it out, Brene Brown.
Hey, awesome. Okay, so check us out on Instagram. I update that sometimes. I should update the website more often, but sometimes I don't.
We've been talking for an hour and a half. Goddamn.
It's been a long time. Had a lot to say. Like I said, a lot to talk about.
Well, when you skip out for a couple weeks,
it happens. Until next time, guys. Stay woke. Bye.
Peace. Yeah, I guess we did. I guess we did.
Yeah, people hanging with all we did.
This was on the back.